Good afternoon. It is April 27th, 2026. You're listening to a little column A, little column B, hosted by Will Alimonos and hosted by Zach Bishop. How are you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? We all just witnessed it. The Peyton Pritchard game. The Jays come out the first half. I think they maybe had 13 points total between them. But Peyton said, "Don't worry about it, guys. I got it under control." He just had a tremendous game. Hits a couple of threes in a row, then a heat check three, and he was just absolutely in control of that game. Wasn't even concerned that the Jays were a little bit off to start, and he's got, with his contract, he's got to be one of the best values in the whole league.
Is that fair to say? He is the best value. I'm all right saying it, but now, is it not also fair to say he's the most underpaid player in the league right now?
I mean, that goes hand in hand.
So why are we saying that? I don't. No one else is saying that part.
Well, it's good. You know, if you're looking at it from the team perspective or from Peyton as an individual person perspective.
Peyton's awesome. He's playing great. He deserves a lot more money. It should be more of the stature than, this is his best contract in the league. It's like, wow, this team won a championship. Like there was no way we could have paid him. He's lucky he actually even got in. There was a lot of cuts. I don't know if you heard. We chopped half the roster. It's gone. we were under the apron now. Like, everything changed, and we still got to keep him. He's also, we drafted. This is born and raised. This is our own grown draft pick here. So I think it's more than just getting right and getting a good deal and getting a good contract. This has been
homegrown, stuck with him. Even when he wanted the trade, we said, "Hey, just wait. Just wait. This is going to work out." So I think that's a good story all around, as well as smallest guy on the court. And I feel like, if not every game, it's every other game. It's smallest guy on the court gets the rebound, and he had just an awesome little offensive putback where it just I don't get it. There are monsters out there, and somehow he is just in the right spot and able to get the ball and able to put it right back in the hoop. No, amazing game, and I hope it continues through the playoffs because it's fun to watch.
Well, we might as well talk about the Celtics and Sixers game while we're on the topic. Embiid does return, and I ask you, did it actually help?
You were all over this right from the start. That said, bring Embiid back. I feel bad for him because I think the team was worse with him in there, and he just had surgery. He came back early, and he's had all of these other just weird injuries. It's not the same one over and over again. So I know he probably felt a lot of pressure, especially with the team being down 2-1, 3-1 versus 2-2 is just two totally different series. But it was even before, even when Embiid was at his peak, it just seemed like we as the Celtics just had his number. We knew how to defend him for sure. We don't have Al anymore, but it's not the same Embiid as before. So even when he was making some of the shots at the beginning and just took Vooch right into the paint and just basically dunked all over him, it was just, I've seen this. I know how this works. I prefer take a bunch of shots because I know in the fourth quarter, there's not going to be any gas left. There's not going to be any gas left in the tank. And when the Celtics win, and it turned out it was a blowout, didn't even really matter, they're going to be talking the next day about, oh, wow, Embiid's line looks pretty good, but did you realize he only took one shot, in the fourth quarter? I could see that happening. So I wasn't very concerned when I saw that he was coming back. I think I was more concerned just Friday's game. Friday's game was pretty close. And you drop one at home and just got away from you, three variants, but you go down 1-2 and all of a sudden now there's a bunch of pressure and the Sixers are already playing free. So to be able to go back home, game 5, up 3-1. I like where the Celtics are. I like what I'm seeing out of Tatum. And then we really saw it yesterday. This team just rebounds, and it's just so crazy because coming into this year, this was a concern. And a concern that everybody talked about. And then like the first beginning of the season, it was tough to watch how it's like, we can't box out. We can't get a rebound. And now it's a strength. And we were just I think we got 4 offensive rebounds on one possession.
The bigs were my biggest concern. And after the loss in game 2, Vucevic was just getting torched. Kata is always in foul trouble. there was no room for them in the rotation. It felt like regardless of who they were out there defending, what rotation was happening on the other end, we had no answer for Bona. And I was so much more concerned after game 2 and 3 and now you throw Embiid in there, and it was like, oh, now I have found room to play all of the bigs that I was so worried about in the other games, and it was so much beneficial to us. We got to play the rotation the way the Celtics roster is designed. It just played right into our hand, if you ask me. If he goes away, which I think is going to happen again, I was way more frightened of the loose, unleashed Maxey 76ers than this slow, begging for calls, Joel Embiid half-court offense of nonsense. Like it's way more predictable, as we've seen before, and it just plays better into allowing Vucevic to be on the floor, if you ask me. Do you think? Because I would have benched Vuk. If Embiid didn't come back, I think I was done this game. And now that he's back, I'm back in on it because I think this is exactly the type of guy I want to throw at him.
Who'd you want to throw at him?
Vucevic would be who I would want to throw at Embiid. But if Embiid's not in there, I don't want to play Vucevic at all. I'm done watching.
We have to. We have to. We have to. This is the same thing that was happening at the end of the season, where it was looking like, ooh, should we? With Garza's looking better. Garza, like last night, Garza is ready to go in his role, and it is going to be a very small one in the playoffs. Vooch, we are going to need him. We traded for him mid-season. Everybody else on the team has been, pretty much with the team for, all the main pieces for a while. He's the new guy coming in that needs to be able to contribute, and then he hurt his hand, and he was out for 6 weeks. And now he hasn't been back for that long. And if we want to continue and have a deep run, we have to play him. And you don't want to really be doing this in the playoffs. You want to be doing this in the regular season, but we still need him to get comfortable and the rest of the team to get comfortable because we're going to need him. And I think he has a unique skill set that no one else on the team has. But I think if it has to be worse than what I've seen for us to just absolutely bench him, because I think we're going to really need him in the later rounds.
Well, Embiid's back for now, so I won't raise it as a concern. I think he's playable if Embiid's out there. I think it's really hard to play him against some other guys. And then there's other teams, too, that I worry about this in the future. Potential rounds. We're up 3-1 right now. I don't want to say it's safe to say we will advance, but we are in a good position. I worry about our Bigs defense. This is hardly the biggest attack that we are going to see, potentially. Are you worried?
I think that we saw it. We saw it a little bit last year with Mitchell Robinson, where I didn't think it was going to be that much of an issue, but I think that Embiid is nowhere near what Embiid was before, but I don't think that there's necessarily a lot of bigs, specifically in the East, that may have been, in the past. Like, we don't have to go against Giannis. So I think if that's our weakness, I think that's something that we can overcome.
We never take care of home court. Will we take care of home court on Game 5? Can we wrap this up? Can we be the adults in the room? Because there's not a lot of adults in the room in a lot of these matchups.
Yes, I say we're going to wrap this up. We already blew a double-digit favorite a game at home. I think it's not just the same team, like it's the team that we root for. It's a lot of the same guys, and I just think the Jays have been around for too long. Missoula, maybe not as long as them. We got to take care of this. We got to take care of this. Who knows what's going to happen in the other series, but if we can get some rest, that is only going to be helpful for us.
All right, let's move on to the Magic, who lead the Pistons in a 2-1 lead in the series. My God, who would have called that? I feel like I was all over this, right? And now they're going to lose this lead. They're going to tie it up. It's going to go 7, and I think Detroit will still win in 7. Do you feel that way, or are you hitting the panic button?
I don't think you were all over it. I think you were with like me and everyone else that said the Magic don't even like themselves. I think it really swapped with the Rockets. I think the Rockets are what we thought the Magic were, but just it looks so easy in hindsight. But it's just, oh, wait a minute, both of these teams not really good shooters, and so it just turns into these rock fights against each other. We'll get into the Cavs-Raptors rock fight, but the Magic are in the driver's seat right now. They got this next one. They're playing at home tonight. They're a small underdog, but if you could get that 3-1 lead, I don't think that the Pistons are this juggernaut that has done this before. I mean, we're a couple of years removed from them probably setting the record for most losses. So I think the Orlando really needs to make a push tonight, and it'd be quite the upset.
If you're Detroit, where do you point the finger? There's obviously guys that aren't playing perfectly, but is it something Orlando is doing, or are these guys actually just not playing well? Like who?
I think some of it is just it's just some of the scheme, and where during the regular season you don't have as much time to prep, where now some of the we have the defense, the Pistons have the defensive guys, but they don't have shooters. And so now in the playoffs, where I mean, we've seen this before of, okay, we're just not even going to pay attention to this guy. You do whatever you want over there, and if you catch the ball and you want to shoot it, knock yourself out. And I think that just really diving into the scheme and how they are guarding guys just at a in a more extreme way than I think they would during the regular season. And I think it's working for Orlando right now.
I really only bring it up because I thought Cade has been very efficient. He's played really well. I think they've got an ideal Cade in this scenario. And I look at like, well, what else can they add to this? What is not happening that was working so well throughout the regular season? Because it's not Cade. That like I think you could have pointed to some injury parts, but I don't think it's Cade.
You say that. I think he's getting the numbers, but I don't think his efficiency is where it needs to be.
Maybe I just where else are they getting it? Like he's at least getting those numbers, and they're desperate for them.
And I think he has to. But I think if they want to win, it's got to be more efficient. Shooting, under 40% from the field. It's tricky to say, hey, you have to do more. But I think there might be a little bit of you have to do more, even though without the shooting around him, everyone is keyed in on him.
I don't think you could trust either of these teams any game, any night going forward either. I think it's a toss-up. I wouldn't be shocked if Detroit still wins this. I wouldn't be shocked if Orlando wins this. And in the next round, it's complete opposite also. They could look really good and really, really bad. I could see a sweep. I could see that next round. I could see something just, I don't know. There's something not right about both of these teams. And that shouldn't be something I say about a 1 seed.
No, it shouldn't be, and especially too about going against this Orlando team. I think it'd be totally different if this was the Charlotte team. Of all right, or maybe even the Clippers. On the West. Of all right, season started off a disaster, but midway through got their act together and trending in the right direction. This Magic team is trending. We talked about this last week. Was trending in the absolute wrong direction. And now they're up 2-1 on the number 1 seed.
All right, I got Detroit 7. I'm sticking with that. You have Orlando now in how many games?
The Orlando Magic, are we sure? Are you putting me in this box? Do I have to?
No. But you mentioned a 3-1 lead. You already gave them the 3-1 lead. I think this is easily getting tied up. Home court means nothing.
Easily getting tied. I don't know about easily getting tied up.
All right, well then how many games? I'll play the song. Has the song made it to you yet? Yeah. You want the song?
The Orlando Magic. Yes, I've heard the Orlando Magic song. I'll go Magic in 6.
Wow. All right. You want the applause or you want the boo?
Whatever you prefer.
The applause is so long. It's so long. All right. Well, while we're on the topic of just straight up rock fights here, we might as well talk about the abysmal Cavs-Raptors game 4, which I can't even point to Cleveland's laziness or are they just dumb? And then Toronto feels like you ever see like football players make a roster? Like they're not really basketball players. It's all muscle and no touch. Like these teams shouldn't be allowed to play each other. They like pronounced 3-point line, Zach. They didn't score points in this game. Do you have the numbers? Do you even know the totals? I don't remember exactly what they were. I just remember watching this being like, this can't be real.
The final was 93-89. In the first quarter, it was Cleveland was up 17-14. I think the over under, I think it was 220. If it wasn't 220, it was around there. Going into the fourth, I looked up the live line and it was 180. If I'm off on that, I know for sure it was a 40-point difference, which is just that's so many points on a total to be off. And the game just looked it. It wasn't, oh man, defense is really locked in. It's just ugly basketball. We throw around rock fight, but it's only because the fourth quarter, the scoring heated up. But going into the fourth, they weren't even at 75 points. Yeah, it was ugly, and I think the Cavs just gave this away.
Is this what hockey's like? Is the parody this like this? Like, oh, we don't know what's going to happen in any game. Because I don't know what's going to happen in any game going forward here. So one of these teams is going to win. Which team do you trust less? Can you trust any team?
The Thunder. I trust the Thunder. I guess I'm going to go. I'm going to stick with the with the Cavs. I don't like it, but I just think the Cavs are a better team, and it's too early for Harden to have a complete just flame out here. As well as I trust Mitchell more, where it's like, okay, Harden doesn't have to be the main guy; he just has to be the second guy. So he just has to help out. The Jared Allen and Mobley, they didn't do much. They didn't do much that last game. And I just think that they're a better team than the Raptors, even if they haven't shown it. And I think the Cavs are going to pull this out.
Cavs at 7.
Yeah, Cavs at 7.
They can't shoot like this poorly to stay in this Toronto range. I'd like to think Harden and Mitchell or one of them will have, or someone will have a hot enough scoring streak to outscore whatever the Raptors show up. But if they do not, or if they, moment gets a little tight, pressure builds up a little bit, and it turns into a rock fight like this.
I was very impressed with Jamal Shedd's defense. Did not really put up much on the on the offensive end, and if he could just have any little bit of offense, but making or enticing, I don't know if it's enticing or forcing that 8-second violation down the stretch was just huge. And if there's someone that knows about a rock fight, it's Jamal Shedd playing for the Houston Cougars. Oh, doubt, yes. Come all the way down in the mud. I would love to play defense. I would love to make this very uncomfortable for you, and I think that he's going to continue to do that.
All right, let's move on to Knicks-Hawks, tied 2-2. We could talk about CJ versus Brunson, but I don't think either of them has actually been the best player in the series. I think OG has been phenomenal. The shot making, consistency of that, the defense, he's everywhere. I think he's been really, really good. And for them to be tied and having that sort of OG player in all of these games is a little shocking to me. I mean, do you want to talk? What do you want to talk about here? You can go any direction you want here. I think OG's been great. Well, what do you want to talk about?
Can we go the other direction and talk about what's bad?
There's just a lot of bad. There's a lot of bad about all the other teams. All right. So when we talk about the bad of these teams,
no, there is bad, exactly. And then there is Mikal Bridges. It's beyond bad.
No, well, I don't know what I think. My definition of bad is kind of the last two matchups that we just talked about. That's really, really bad. Those are actual problems. The Knicks and Mikal Bridges is nothing new, and they're 2-2, and there's games that they've still played well with or without whatever they get from him. Which is
game 2, in game 3. All right, so he played a little better in the last game, but for the second half of game 2 and for the whole entire game, an entire game of basketball, Mikal Bridges scored 0 points. Couldn't get to the free throw line, couldn't make a layup, couldn't throw the ball up in the air. He's a 3-point shooter. Awful. Really bad. I think some of this has to do with the coaching and how they're having him play, but I don't think it's all residing there. But this is really bad. This is really bad, Will. His extension kicks in next year. Next year, he starts a 4-year extension, starting at 33, ending at $41 million per year. And the guy can't score. I mean, for sure he plays defense, but this is a guy who's supposed to be able to do everything. I mean, he can for sure recover, but this is really bad. He had more turnovers in game 3, he had more turnovers in game 3 than he had assists and rebounds combined.
There's a misuse.
Really bad stuff.
There's a misuse with him for what this team needs in the spacing and the function of it all. He has to be able to make that corner 3. Now, not only is he not making any shots or really any points in general, they have other guys on the team that can and are And that makes it even harder where it's like, well, if they just going to be a 3-point scorer or a 3-point shooter out there and they're going to replace it with, fill in blank here because there's good options on the Knicks. The Knicks have good depth. That makes this even harder where there's going to be nights where I don't think he's going to play as much as you think. This isn't going to be the 448 minutes by Tom Thibodeau every night with him. This isn't shocking to me. I think they could function without him. I agree it's a problem, but I also think if there were something to happen to Brunson, they're going to be happy that they have him to fill in as a poor man ball handler, which they just don't need when Brunson's out there, at least not in playoff games. Break in case of emergency. I think you'll be happy you have him then. But for what they're running right now, I'm with you on the coaching. They don't need that. Like, do you want him to have the ball more? Do you want to take the ball out of Brunson's hands? You want to run pick and roll with Mikal Bridges? You want to post Mikal Bridges up? They don't even post Cat up. Cat only gets 3-point shots now too. It's the Brunson show. It's not fair to
a starter in his prime should not go over in a basketball game.
Yeah, it's fair, but it's also that it's Brunson. Brunson gets everything. He gets the scraps.
And you know what happened? And I was very surprised by this. In the 2 games that Atlanta won, Game 2 and Game 3, it was Brunson time. We have lived it. We painfully had to live this last year. And tied, down 1, just right there, Brunson time. This is where Brunson, he makes a living. And the Hawks shut him down in both of those games. 1, just stripped him. Really good play. And then in Game 3, just forcing him to go basically out of bounds and turn the ball over. Very impressed with that defense. Brunson is elite at getting to his spots and at scoring. And you, as a defender, you are so nervous about that. And I think Brunson, especially against a younger team, could definitely pull all of the tricks. And I would have expected him to get to the line. So I don't think this is so much of a Brunson thing, so much as the Hawks. Just very impressed with that defense down the stretch.
We have to mention CJ, right? CJ's dueling. He's got the duel out there. He's just going shot for shot with Brunson. I think he's matched up. And if anything, you can give all the credit you want to Brunson. He can get to his spots. He can get every shot he wants. He's still doing it. But CJ's doing it to him on the other end. Can we get a guy that can slow him down a little bit? He's getting torched by CJ.
CJ, any team could have had him. It was just I think before this series, if you asked maybe at in January, like, is CJ McCollum still playing? I think you would have said yes, but on what team and if he was actually making any moves, he's older. You're thinking like he's kind of on the way out. Now he's the premier guy. Like you said, he is dueling with Brunson here. I mean, he does miss 2 very crucial free throws in Game 2 to very much keep the door wide open. Luckily, Mike Brown had used up all his timeouts because I think it was 5 seconds. It was 5 or 6 seconds. You get that at half court. That's a completely different opportunity versus off of a miss, having to go the length of the court. It's just kind of get whatever you get. But no, very very impressed by what CJ's doing.
Talk about staying ready. He's been on disaster situation after disaster situation. You don't know if you're going to get traded. You hope. And you hope you get traded to a team that's going to give you an opportunity more often than not. Or if you go to a good team, it's like, well, I guess I'm playing behind a bunch of guys. This is a crazy situation. I can't think of this ever working out as well as it did. This is kind of a perfect best case scenario for everybody in Atlanta and CJ. I don't miss Trey. Do you miss Trey? Are they 2-2 with Trey?
Oh, I don't know. Trey's done it before, so I'm not going to just write that off. And the Knicks now they're going after CJ. I think it just doesn't quite have the same juice to it, but it just might. It just might if it continues this way.
So Knicks in how many games?
Knicks are gonna get their act together. I mean, I think it's the first. I think I saw it was the first time in the playoffs that a team had lost 1-point games back to back. So I think they're gonna get their act together, and it'll be Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 7. Make it exciting.
You know who else has been playing really well for the Hawks?
Dyson Daniels?
I was going to say Jonathan Kuminga.
Oh.
It's almost like the coach he used to play for might have poop for brains.
Wow.
Maybe shouldn't be coaching anymore.
What a deep cut. Talk about...
Yeah, you like that?
No, I don't. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. Doesn't make sense.
Well, you know what? If you knew how to play guys that you can actually contribute, it sure looks like the Warriors, who they haven't played in the past week or so because they are out, even though they have Steph Curry on their team. But no, just let Jonathan Kuminga go. Don't play him. That'd be silly. That'd be
Jesus,
crazy.
can you at least hold your bias to the college basketball section? Like, Jesus, control yourself. Oh, can we move on to the Western Conference?
I would love to move on to the Western Conference.
Thunder lead 3-0 against the Suns. It's the only adult you could trust. I feel so confident about this team. There's no comfort or confidence, I think, in any of the other matchups. So there is something nice about just Thunder really good. The Suns and Dylan Brooks are going to play their games, and I will only really talk about some of the really terrible officiating for Devin Booker. I do sympathize with him. I thought the technical was one of the worst. It's really bad. But beyond that, even if you do overturn some of these calls, it doesn't change any of the outcome here. So there's not much to talk about here. I think it's a clean sweep. What do you think?
I think clean sweep. It feels like it's been a lot longer than a week since we did the last podcast, just because I think when we talked last week, it was, well, I guess, Magic got an upset, so maybe that series will be interesting, but the route, like the first games of all the series were usually just so dominant. I think we were thinking, there's gonna be a bunch of sweeps, and that has not been the case. I mean, we've had Wemby get a concussion, not play games, come back. I feel like so much has happened, in the week, but the Thunder Suns is the one that has stayed consistent. Of Thunder very much in control. I don't have a great solution, but it just seems like there is a lot of ref complaining. I think that it's slowly ratcheted up, but specifically in the playoffs, and just I don't care. I don't care. Basketball, it's there's a lot of judgment calls. They don't want it to be, but it's it's not a collision sport like football, but it's still a contact sport. There's still stuff that's going to happen, and it just the whining and the complaining. It's annoying. It's annoying on the court. It's even, I don't know if it's more annoying, but it's also annoying. In the press conferences where, like I said, I don't have a solution, but it bothers me.
Booker's got some bad calls. Nothing else to say about that.
Oh no, everybody's got bad calls. That's basketball. That's how it works.
Spurs lead Portland 3-1. Wemby missed a game. And I think it was the best thing for the Spurs and maybe all of us as well, as we got to see the Ace Bailey breakout game. There were dunks, there was shot making, there was some defense versus Scoot Henderson. And this really felt like a legendary coming out game. I think this was awesome. I think this is great. Now they have another guy. I mean, we kind of always knew they had a guy, but I feel a little validated with all of this. That now they're just loaded for who knows however long. They got another guy. Anything stand out for you with Ace Bailey?
What are you talking about?
Oh my God, is it not Ace Bailey? It's the other guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I wrote the wrong name down. It's the wrong Rutgers guy. Oh. Well, Ace Bailey's also Dylan Harper. Jesus.
Oh man. I hate when you do this because you say it so confidently, and then I think maybe I'm a crazy person.
I'm not. Having figured out the congestion in my. All right. Well, hopefully everything else is fact checked. I've been good the whole other time.
It's fair. No, but
all right. Either way, we haven't.
Yeah, they.
It's not a name.
You're new. Yeah, you're new to the college basketball stuff. So, but you do have the correct school. So I'm very much gonna let this slide. It was just, oh no,
Oh, it's Harper.
What's happening to me?
Junior too. Either way, I thought it was
no. He's not a junior. We have junior. Celtics have Ron Harper Jr. Yeah, we have junior. It's his brother.
We're doing great. We're doing so great. We're doing so great. I watched all this game too, and all right. What do you want to say about this game?
Are you referring more to Game 3 or when Wemby came back in Game 4?
You could talk about anything right now as long as I don't have to answer it.
I think maybe just to even go further back, to Game 2 when Wemby hit his face off of the floor. I mean, he whacked it really good, and I feel like we've seen it in football. It's never fun, but you don't really see it in basketball very often, where you could just tell something wasn't right when he was sitting there. And then I also feel like sometimes we'll see this in football or just in sports in general. Of you're sitting on the ground, You're clearly woozy. You can't really get up. Everyone takes a beat. Then there's like another beat, and then he gets up, and then he just starts running off the court into the locker room. Like, all right, I get, you want to show like you're all good to go, but you are not good to go, and you are like super tall, and you're woozy. You're gonna run into something, or you're gonna fall. Just easy, easy. Have someone help you. Make sure you get to the back, get taken care of. Interested to find out after the season because they asked him, hey, how was the recovery process, this and that? And he was very clear that the Spurs organization was awesome, that his guys were great, but there was something about the concussion protocol that he did not like. And I'm just interested to find out what about the protocol that he was against.
Is there even a protocol? I mean, one game? Is that the normal stature? If we had 2 NFL games in 1 week, would we be having guys return for the next game? Like what?
I didn't look into it super far. I feel like I know more about it from football, but there is a concussion protocol, named the same, I'm sure. Or actually, I don't know. Maybe it's the same. Maybe it's different. But there were things in place. I think I saw you're for sure out for 48 hours. Right there, like that was a hard rule. And then afterwards, there were certain benchmarks that you had to hit. And so I'm sure if it was, a Celtics player, I would know exactly, and I'd like have a laundry list of, all right, it's this and on this, but I just knew. And Spurs were in control. They're not going to rush Wemby back, but yes, I think there's a real protocol.
How many games do the Spurs need?
5.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this is wrapped up. Good for Portland though. Good step in the right direction.
Oh, big time. Yep. Yeah, we're even to get a game from the Spurs. I think this is good for them. They got Dame coming back next year. Their coach got taken away by the police after the first game. So for them to just even be, get one win, that's even beyond. I was saying them even just getting into the playoffs. That was already gravy for them.
All right, the most intriguing matchup left. Wolves, who lead the Nuggets 3-1. Edwards is out. Dante Vincenzo is out. Jokic is slowed down. This is fun. This is like scripted television to me at this point, where just when the Wolves have all they need is one game, right? All they need is one game, but they're not going to have their best guy, probably their second best ball handler, and I don't know if they're going to pull it off, but they are very close to pulling this off. Do you think they can get through the Denver Nuggets?
I think they can. I know the injuries that they have. I know what they're dealing with, but it's not like they have no other guys. Io, oh man, out of nowhere, just 40-something points. Amazing. Just really awful for the Timberwolves, but I just think they have 3 opportunities and they only need to win one game. And I just think that just the way that the luck goes, at least one, whether it's shooting luck or buzzer beater or something, you get 3 bites at the apple, and one of the times they're going to be able to be victorious.
I don't think so. I think Denver's this is it. Either way, though, the team advancing through this doesn't seem like a real threat in comparison to some of the other teams.
Did the McDaniels layup bother you?
No, but it didn't shock me that that's the way Jokic responded.
I think it would have been better to have that effort during the actual basketball game and not afterwards.
I think everyone knew what they were doing. I think they knew Jokic was going to like it.
I was glad that nobody was suspended.
There wasn't a need for that. But
no, it was fines. It was pushing and shoving, no punches thrown, and just cool. Aaron Gordon clearly left the bench area, but he wasn't playing, so I don't know if that factors in. But wasn't a real threat, and so by the letter of the law, you left the bench area. They could have suspended him. Assuming he's even going to play, but just fine him, let him play in this situation.
It's not really. I don't know. And McDaniels has just been tormenting everybody this entire series, right? He's been saying stuff in the post game. He's already a defensive guy. He's had a lot of success so far in this series. If you ask me, while it isn't an excusable reason to get in somebody's face, it is a reason. And if it's just one of them that they were like, all right, that's it. This is a reason to get in McDaniels' face. I'm going to take it because in the past, this has really been an unwritten rule, and it seems like he was just looking for a reason to get in his face, and he found it. There's probably plenty of other
He
ones.
found it.
So I think it's a little bit more of that, of like, I think I can get away with this right now. And Jokic looks crazy when he does all of this. And I think it's going to bring out hopefully a better one of him because he's really been slowed down. It's hard to give Rudy Gobert credit, especially when you read down the resume and it's like, oh, that makes sense. But it's like, no, that just never mattered. Like he's never won this matchup in this way, or at least this consistently.
He's doing something because I think it's not a fluke. I think it helps with the whole team, but especially now they're missing some of their key components. So you can't just go with, this was going to be the plan, and all Rudy had to do is just focus on this. It's like, well, no. Now your expectations have opened up. But I agree with you on, if the Wolves do pull this out as I'm predicting, Ant's out weeks. DiVincenzo, Achilles, done, possibly for next year. So even if they make it onto the next round, it's not the same. It's not the same team. I got it wrong last week, saying there'd be a Anthony Edwards game. I was way off because I should have said that there's gonna be an Io DeSumo game. Big Ten ready to go.
Another player any other team could have had. He was traded at the midseason, and the Wolves are lucky they did. Could you imagine the team without him right now?
Sometimes you just get the opportunity. I don't think he's gonna be scoring 40 points tonight, but just any sort of fill-in for DiVincenzo, that's what they're going to need.
Our next game, Lakers, they lead the Rockets 3-1. Good for them. Do you have any sympathy for Houston? They got the one. It's already 1-2-3 Cancun, right? We're done for the next game. Does Houston have any chance? I'm shocked they even got the one.
I think from a basketball ability, yes, but just from the attitude, like I mentioned earlier, it seems like they are what we thought Orlando was of what is happening with this team. Just I don't know how you don't take it more seriously going up against the Lakers that are missing, an MVP candidate and, a legitimate starter. For sure, they have LeBron there, but you go down 3-0. Like this is over, unfortunately. But I was surprised last night that they didn't say 1-2-3 Cancun and hang it up. But I just, from a basketball, it just the whole Reed Shepherd thing and Ime that just doesn't seem to line up. And as someone that had to deal with meltdowns the past year, so that was a meltdown. I think that was one of the crazy teams are 175-1 in games where you were up 6 points with under 14 seconds to go, and the other one was the Pacers-Knicks game last year, where you start getting those sort of numbers and just Reed, what are you doing, man? All you need to do is just dribble the ball, and you let LeBron do like the pickup basketball, like swing around, and then LeBron hits it over two guys with the pump fake. Just unreal coming from LeBron to be able to do that. Very disappointed in Houston. They should be able to take care of the Lakers. I would have thought this would have been a good series to start, and then we kind of knew going in, but no Reeves, no Luka, no Durant for a chunk of this, and then even when they had Durant, they couldn't beat him. So, very disappointed in Houston not being able to get rid of the Lakers, because now Lakers got more time. I don't know if Luka is even close, but if you play another series now, all you got to do is hang around maybe a little bit more, and you get Luka back. That's a little bit more. It's a little bit different than just getting Embiid back.
I want to add one thing to Houston, and this is something that Philly kind of does when the season ends, is they would have lost this with Durant. I don't want to hear Durant was out. He's like, yeah, he was, but he was also back for a game, and that was not a good game. It wasn't one of those games where it's like, well, I wish we could play this out a couple more times. They would have lost this with Durant. So I don't want to go in the offseason like, oh, we'll be adding Durant and we'll be adding Van Vliet. There are problems with this team, right? Like they need actual corrections of all of this that I don't think are going to come if you just run this all back again.
Any thoughts on the Sengun pep talk that was given?
Somebody's got to be a leader of this team. Somebody's got to be on this team at the end of the day. I don't blame anyone, but I would be shocked if this team runs anything remotely close to what we're seeing out there next year. This just doesn't
So
work.
I'm assuming
Even if it gets you into the playoffs, if this is the playoff outcome against, as you said, a very broken Lakers team, you're going to face far better opponents. Even if you were to get out of this round, like you're just nowhere near being taken seriously.
I'm assuming the Lakers are gonna take care of them on Wednesday. But so if that's the case, you lose to the Lakers, without Luka in in four, or excuse me, not sweep. You lose in 5 games, so pretty handily. Is Ime back, and is Durant back next year?
I say no and no.
Both gone. Okay.
Look, once Durant's unhappy and hardly ever looks happy, it's just a matter of time before he finds his way somewhere else. It's only a pattern, I'm not like making any assumptions or anything here. It's just that there's a history, quite literally, with this guy going to these places, getting unhappy, and then moving on to the next one. Why would he want to come back to all this? He's only got so many years left. Do you think there's enough correction that this is worth running back again for him?
There was already the burner situation mid-year where he didn't seem super happy. How much of that was truth versus how much of that was just venting, that got out? So it could just be, hey, this was just venting. It's, we all do it, in work situations. But you're saying this is a pattern. He just got here this year. You are correct. He doesn't have that many years left, but the Suns were not successful. I think you think we're bringing in Durant. We're bringing in a successful guy. He has not had success since Golden State. And that was a juggernaut of a team. That's a whole different situation. I'm wondering, if you are these other teams, who is going to get hoodwinked by this, saying, oh, well, we bring Durant in. Well, now we're a contender. It just seems like I guess that is a possibility, but there's a much greater possibility that you are flaming out in the first round or not even making the playoffs.
There's also a chance
and it's miserable. It's not even fun.
This could be Durant's team now, too. What if he's calling the shots? What if Durant is still the guy? Like, are they building around him? Are they
getting rid of Sengun?
I think if you're not getting rid of Durant, I think you have to look at other options. There's not many other, true packages that other teams are going to give you good value for. The Thompson guy, I don't know what you want to get in exchange for that. I think you want to see where that leads before you move on from it. But I just think Durant might be the piece you move if you're not moving Sengun.
I think they're going to talk themselves into Durant got hurt in the playoffs. He wasn't right. If he was right, this would be different. We have Fred VanVleet coming in. We're not going to have to start Reed. We can keep Reed, but he'll be the backup. He'll fit like in that role much better. And I think everybody's running it back.
No way. I would. All right. Lakers in 5. Moving on from that. The Bucks. Am I getting any NBA news correctly? All right. There was a hire. There was a new coach. The Taylor Jenkins. Yep. Can I trust anything on the board here?
Yes.
I like the hire.
Yeah.
I have no idea where this goes. There's a lot of problems here. I don't think the head coach is the biggest issue they have right now. It's mostly a roster situation, an inevitable trade of Giannis situation, a lack of draft pick sort of situation. They're paying a lot of people that are not even on the books sort of situation. I can only say that this is a coach that I liked in the past, though. Right? We like Taylor Jenkins.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine.
I don't think I agree with you that I don't think it was really all on Doc, but I think that where Doc is in his career is different from where Taylor Jenkins is. Where Taylor Jenkins, 41, like on the younger side of being a coach. So if this turns into you get rid of Giannis, there are going to be some lean years as you don't have the draft picks, but you can show, hey, I'm a good coach because like the expectations aren't very high, but I'm going to have to get more out of these guys than than another coach could. So I think that there's a good opportunity for him. Had some success in Memphis, but this doesn't turn the Bucks into contenders or anything like that.
No, and it's a name I've at least heard of, though. Sometimes I think they pull this name out of a hat. And I was like, who? All right. Anything else for the NBA in the playoffs?
I'm excited. I'm excited for another week of it.
Should we have a little streaming update talk? Has it been a challenge? Are you having issues? Are your loved ones struggling to find the games?
So not not that situation. It it is interesting because I feel like for a while we had games on basically TNT and ESPN, and it was by the by the day. So you just kind of knew. All right, Thursdays are for sure TNT days. Fridays are ESPN. Maybe Saturday's a mix. Sunday, that's ABC, that's ESPN, and just kind of knew where they were. Where I haven't figured out if they're exactly lined up. It doesn't like I haven't looked into it deep enough. It hasn't been around long enough to know, oh, the prime games are on Tuesday, or the prime games are the East Coast games, or just how that works. I did run into a situation where it was on, I think it was one of the afternoon games on Saturday was on Peacock, and I was not at a sports bar, but I was out at a bar, and you can ask for a channel, but if the channel doesn't exist because it's on Peacock, yeah, they can't really help you. And their job isn't to like find you your television program. That's like down the list. So you don't get like a lot of chances to get it right. So that's something that it's a little difficult. I was definitely reading an article, something I didn't really realize, as a non-owner, where it isn't just as simple as, oh, well, just go out and buy a Chromecast, and if you have it, you could just play it, in the bar. There's all sorts of legal ramifications because now you're you're playing it publicly, and how people pay for that. And I didn't even read the whole article because it was it got to the lawyers, and I didn't care for it. But at least at home, I'm fine with it. I have all the services, but it does kind of it is a little bit of a challenge to figure out how my setup's going to work.
We'll get used to it. This is the future. This is not going away.
No.
I think we'll get used to it. Or do you think there's an inevitable combination of rejoining all of this nonsense back into one ultimate box?
Well, I think
of
no.
options?
I think that we have. I think we have to. We're gonna. It is the future. It is what's gonna happen because it wasn't. This wasn't a one off. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Amazon said we want to have the NBA for like an extended, like the contract is for a while. So
11 years.
It's not going back
10 years.
It's not going. It's not going back to TNT. So it's just a matter of figuring it out and always remembering it's better than it was, not that long ago, because at any point I could just pull it up on my phone. I could always do that. It's a little antisocial. It's not as good as having it up on the on the TV. But if it really got down to, hey, it's the end of the fourth quarter. I want to watch this before I get out of here. Like I'm still able to do that, and I think that it will just be the lawyers figuring out, hey, how can we make this a little easier for the for the bars and restaurants, and this is something that will work itself out. I'm not concerned about that.
All right, let's move on to college basketball. The portal season has closed or started.
Was that a question?
I don't know.
So here's where it gets a little confusing. The portal opened right after Michigan won the championship. So there's all their pictures showing the Michigan coaches already looking at the guys in the portal. Now the portal closed last week. What that means is that no player that's in college can now put their name into the portal. But during that stretch, the 4 week stretch, if you put your name into the portal, you're in the portal. You're hanging out in the portal, and you can still commit to other teams. So there's still a ton of teams, or excuse me, a ton of players in the portal right now. You can still get out of the portal. You can't get into the portal now.
Well, with that, let's do a couple update on a few schools here. I think we might as well start with a little bias. The Duke Blue Devils. I believe who'd you get? You got a Big Ten guy, right? You got the Wisconsin guy.
Yes, we John Blackwell. So he's a big scorer, senior. It's definitely going to be interesting. We do not have the Cooper Flag, the Cam Boozer, who it's okay. This guy is the maybe not quite once in a generation because they're back to back, but just all right, elite top recruit. He's going to score all the points. He's going to do all the things. This Duke team this year is going to be very different, especially. It's been a while since a underclassman, or excuse me, since a non-freshman has led the Duke team in scoring. So yes, we got John Blackwell. We got Drew Skarnowski out of Belmont. He was one of their better players, but I think maybe not so much in who Duke transferred in. I mean, we knew, it's Duke. They're going to have the 5 stars that come in. It's all the guys that came back. Caden's coming back. Gongba's coming back. Foster's coming back. And Demay Sarr's coming back. So, obviously, a lot of guys coming back. The team is very different when you don't also have Cameron Boozer, as the crown jewel in there. But I like it. I like it for Caden. I like that the last, the last visual of him in a Duke uniform is not going to be the unfortunate turnover. I'm glad Gongba's coming back. I know you're not a fan of him, but his advanced metrics on defense are some of the top in the country. I think he's had some foot injuries, so if he can get healthy, anytime you have a 7-footer that's anchoring your defense and isn't just a complete stiff on offense is helpful. Foster, I'm really going to be interested to see how this fits in because we have some young 5-star point guards coming in, and I don't know. It's unfortunate he got hurt again. This has happened to him in the past, and so I don't know if that played into it, but he could kind of be the odd man out. So interested to see how that plays out. And then Demay, amazing defender on offense. You can see like the possibility that's there, and then just this year. It was just sometimes he was like too fast or he was just doing too much. And so I'm excited to see another year of him, in the program and just getting a second shot at it where, it's not, he's so bouncy and then just like bish the dunk somehow. I'm just hoping that there's some linear progression there and we're able to see just some excitement from him. So Duke team is going to be much, much deeper this year, but definitely not. The top guy is not going to be far and away better than the other guys on the team. So interested to see how that happens.
Well, I think the team is already better than this year's team. No,
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You don't think it'll be better?
It's so tough because like I said, if you don't have Cameron Boozer that's leading the team in points, rebounds, and assists. I think the defense is going to be there. I'm interested to see how Blackwell fits in as well as the the 5-star young guys coming in. But I think sometimes as fans, we just get a little bit confused. Not confused, but you see all of the names. It's like, oh, well, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. But you can only play 5 of them at a time. And really, 7, maybe 8, for the whole season, when it really gets to, to crunch time. And so sometimes you don't need 8, pretty good guys. You need 1 absolutely elite guy. So, without that, I'm not confident now, but it's April. We're not even a month away from the tournament ending, so we're still very early on.
I like the guys you're bringing back. I think there's a real core there. There's a good chemistry there. I think you could plug in all the guys you're talking about into a system like this. I'd be very excited. I think you're adding more depth. I think you'll have better shooting. I think all the guys you just talked about from last year will shoot better going forward. And just like the UConn guys, like the guys that stayed, I feel like they just came back as better shooters every year. Like I think that can be you guys. I think that's going to be a lot of teams that are able to hold on to a core. You're just going to get better shots because it's the same shots you've been getting last year and you just got better at going into the next year. I still think you'll play a similar way, even if it isn't directly through a Cam Boozer. But I'd be excited. I'd be excited for Duke. Let's talk about Michigan State. We got a big guy. We got a big guy from Charlotte. Anton Boak. I'm not entirely sure if that's the correct pronunciation of the name or anything like that, but it's a 7-2 guy.
It's April. You can't pronounce anything wrong. We're only seeing headlines. It's not fair for us to know exactly because sometimes we'll even find out into a guy's career we're pronouncing it incorrectly. But no, we are good. We can pronounce it incorrectly until at least the season starts. Then you hear how the announcers say it.
A lot of seniors just moving on, so we're gonna have to replace some big men. So it's nice to at least know we're filling it with a true 7-footer and not just like a. I mean, the other guys are really versatile, but I would say they were a little undersized in some matchups. But Michigan is reloaded again. They certainly have some size. I love having a true 7-footer on the roster. Not really a whole lot to talk about here, though. Anything for Michigan State?
Will you also be as bouncy as you were last year? Are you bringing in any more dunkers?
Well, I mean, Cohen Carr is returning. So that's exciting. Fears is returning. I believe Tang is returning as well. We did have one guy enter the portal kind of last minute here, but for bringing Anton in, I think that's going to be just fine to move on from certain guys. And I don't even want to say names because you don't entirely know where everyone's going to end up yet. Some of these guys you might see again in the future really, really, really soon.
Carr definitely adds the excitement. Where a lot of times your offense can be stagnant, or it just seems like your best offense is just shooting it to get the rebound. But anytime Carr is getting out on the break, oh, that is very exciting. So I will be tuning into some more Michigan State games next year.
All right. Any other teams you want to talk about? Schools, players, anything specific?
Not necessarily any specific things. This is going to be a little bit of an audible because this came out just before the podcast. There has been some rumors about this, but it seems like it's forming up to get a little more serious. The NCAA dealing with a bunch of lawsuits this year. There was a lot of injunctions and lawyers and judges and can this guy play and can he not play? What they're looking to do is trying to simplify it, and it will be you can play for 5 years. Now, it used to just be 4 years. During COVID, then there was the extra year, so it's a little murky, but going forward, it would be you get 5 years of eligibility. I think they're going to try to get rid of the red shirt. So if you get hurt, you're out of luck. I think there will be some sort of appeals process, but it'll be interesting if you have the ability to play 5 years. Now, they've come out very quickly and said that will not apply to guys this year. So any of your guys that are seniors that are graduating and now you're saying, oh, well, 5th year, oh, hold on. Hold on. Maybe we don't take that transfer. Obviously, with all of this, NCAA can say, hey, here are the rules. And then so a player can go, hey, I would like some of this NIL money, and you are preventing me from doing this. We did not collectively bargain on this deal, so I'm taking you to court. So I don't know if the courts will hold up or not, but let's say that they do. Do you think more streamlined 5 years and you're done is good or bad for college basketball?
I think we're always going to have exceptions to the rule, are we not? So like we can say this is the rule, but do you not think there will still be special case scenarios where we will allow some sort of additional year, or is this going to be a very strict, it's the rule?
I'm still thinking if there is if you are hurt, and maybe they'll just make it a little more stringent. Where right now, I can't remember how many games you play, and then if you get hurt, you can do a medical red shirt. And so maybe they'll just make it of, hey, if you get hurt before the season, but if you maybe it's 10 games now, but it's like, hey, if you play more than 5, we're already giving you a bonus here. That's just rough luck on you, and that's what you're gonna have to deal with. It'll be interesting because they're also trying to make it. I can't remember the exact, but it's something like 5 years from your graduating class or your 19th birthday. So that can kind of throw a little bit of a wrench into some of the older guys or maybe some of the Europeans. But the idea being, hey, college is not for mid-20s. Like you got to go on from that. It's to kind of keep it to a younger audience. But like I said, NCAA tries to make the rules, and then all of a sudden someone's going to come in and go, well, hey, why can't I play a 3rd year at 27?
It's complicated. It seems like it would be simple, but the arguments always seem like, well, I guess so. It seems easy to put them all up, and then I feel like there's certain scenarios where it's like, no, I think we can allow this. The fact that they're getting money though too doesn't incentivize you staying. So I don't know. I guess if the product's better, like, is it worse with older people? Are you upset having older, bigger, faster, stronger guys out there?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. All right, let's do a quick little NFL roundup. There was a draft. Did you know there's a draft?
There was a draft.
Multiple rounds, lots of players. You feel like all the teams are really different now after the draft?
I am not nearly as plugged in on the NFL draft as I would be with the NBA draft. My brother asked me, like, oh, are you happy with the pick? It's like, I'm not going to come on here and pretend to know who the Utah offensive tackle who we picked, even if I went to watch all of his highlights to know, like, oh yeah, no, clearly, that's the guy. So I have to rely on a lot of other people. And we were fortunate. We were in the Super Bowl this year. There are people that are super excited about how their team drafted. Let them win the offseason. Awesome. I'm not into trying to win the offseason, as well as I saw a pretty funny video that obviously very, edited in a way, but it was a bunch of people that had aired out their thoughts on previous drafts and their disappointment in who their teams drafted, and it'd be somebody like Patrick Mahomes, where it's like, this is just a good reminder. You have no idea what's going to happen. Nobody does. Nobody does. So definitely interested that the Patriots used, it was a deep first round pick, but used a first round pick on an offensive tackle after, Will Campbell was less than stellar in the playoffs. And, kind of the articles going, oh, well, it didn't say it would make Campbell, more movable, but definitely said, we'll give you some more flexibility. He's like, well, I don't feel great about that because Campbell was a top 5 pick, where this new guy is a top 35 pick. So we're gonna have to see. We'll wait till the offseason. And I think this year, this draft, I think it's mostly to deal with the quarterbacks. Some of them were position. It just didn't have a lot of juice, and that could just be on me. Fantasy player. I want to know where the running backs are going. I want the flashy quarterbacks, and Mendoza going to the Raiders. It's just, man, the Raiders are just they're in a hole, and I just don't know. I know Mendoza, won the national championship, but just not sure he's a guy that's going to come in and just light the world on fire.
I would be shocked if that was the case. I'm far more interested in the Ty Simpson to the Rams situation, where there's a McVay didn't want to know, and obviously didn't know the entire time, and it's just a really bad interview. But I wonder what the long-term deal is with all this. I think they're going to leverage, and Ty Simpson's going to play like a game and look awesome, and trade him for something next year. Because it's rumored next year's, this is a year down the road, so who knows? But there's some quarterbacks in next year's class, a lot more than there were in this year. So I'm wondering if this was like, they know that if you put it with McVay and the guy looks good, maybe they could leverage that into something else. Or do you think this is actually someone you might see in the Rams uniform for a lot of years?
I don't know for sure for a lot of years, but I don't think it's some sort of, if we can get him to play one game and then we'll trade him. I don't think we've ever seen that happen before. But I think it's very reasonable that you have Matthew Stafford, that you have to start thinking about, well, what are we going to do after Matthew Stafford?
It just seemed like the wrong year to do that, as well as they didn't need to do it. It doesn't. I don't see any other value of it. I think we're going to try to prove that quarterbacks are more valuable with McVay, and then we're going to show extreme value out of this guy that we don't have to pay to then get something else. Is my guess. I don't think this is the guy long term, because I just don't think he's that good. Like that's the other thing.
Okay, all right. Oh, so you're just looking at it just from that aspect. You're not really looking at it from the, what are like Matthew Stafford's feelings on this? Because it's like, well, wait a minute, hold on. Guy, as has played a long career. He's towards the end of it, so it's not like he's some guy that doesn't know how the business is run. As well as how are we like talking about football players that these super tough, mentally tough guys that are out there doing battle, but then we have to coddle them here, where it's like, oh well hold on. We got this guy, but we like you more. Like we like him, we love you. It's like, why are we coddling these guys?
I think Stafford should welcome a competition, and if he struggles against Tyson, which he's not, this isn't going to be. Look, that doesn't make sense. We really misjudged a lot of this, and the Rams know a lot more than we know. If that ends up being the scenario, but I just think it was a wasted pick. If you ask me, I just think this is a miss. You could have got him at a different value, and he's probably still better in your hands, but you could have got him somewhere else. I don't know who they were competing against, as well as what the real long run advantage of having him right now for is. It's the only real takeaway I took away from the draft. For the majority of all this, I don't think there are huge game changers going to teams, and it's too early to tell. But for the most part, I think the NFL draft is a lot more of reloading your roster than it is like refreshing and going a new direction. But I'm not nearly as involved in 3 days of NFL drafts as some other podcasts. I'm sure you could find those where you need to find them. Anything else for the NFL draft?
I think that's enough.
Do we dare touch the Vrabel gossip? Is there an updated feeling? Have you adjusted an opinion? Are you worried?
I think we have to. When the news originally broke and there were some pictures, and I don't even think there were crazy incriminating pictures. It was just like, all right, well, that's weird, but it's not something we really need to talk about. It's our coach, but it's like, I'm not gonna fuel this. Things have gotten progressively worse. And it wasn't even so much that last week more pictures came out from from 6 years ago, and there's just more info that comes out, so relationship stuff that you didn't know about. It's like, I very much don't care about relationships, and if you're married, you just stick with the person that you're married to. But everyone's got their own situation. But what makes me think that we need to talk about it is nothing specifically to do with that. Is now it's coming into a football context. Now Vrabel has had to talk about this in official press conferences where he's sort of apologized, but not necessarily for anything specific, as well as I think the bigger thing of he missed day 3. You're the head coach and you went to go get counseling, which, okay, I guess that's important, but counseling on a Saturday, you- I suppose from a football standpoint, like, well, Saturday's not as important as Thursday, but I think it's still like kind of important. And how are you balancing this? And is this more of just a ploy to show, oh, well, you see how committed I am to to my family and getting this fixed? Well, you couldn't have gone to counseling on on Sunday when the draft was over. So it's now starting to impact the football side of things, and that makes me concerned.
You're either in the counseling or you're not, man. It's either on that schedule or not. The idea is it's not forgiving thing. It's a commitment. That's a tough priority. That is why it's concerning that you have somebody attending kind of a priority like this. But it's either a priority or it's not. And I almost feel like it was a show to show that it is a priority and that he is taking it seriously and that he is sacrificing, because this isn't a good situation. This is a bad look. It's going to take some fixing. This is going to take some counseling. This isn't over. The questions are just beginning. I think there's more to come out. I think now that you said there's more pictures that came out, what you failed to mention is that those pictures paint a larger time frame. Those pictures are from 2020. There's a lot of time between now and then that doesn't involve and is none of our business, but I think the business is going to come out. I think the worst has not leaked yet. Like, do you think, just based on all of that, like, you think this is all that's out there for from a 6-year window? That these guys just got caught these 2 times?
I just don't know what's going to be like to make this worse than what it is right now. I don't see like how much higher. I think it's just like it's already at a certain level where football is already being impacted, and that it just can continue to be impacted if like there's just like more pictures that just get leaked.
Well,
kind of like as we go through the summer, and it just something that he has to spend time mentally working and figuring out that he's not doing, getting Drake May ready to play football.
I guess what I'm more skeptical of isn't necessarily more pictures of the same 2 people. I'm worried there's more other people, that there's another one and then another story and another kind of, there's just more. I just worried there's more, because who would have ever thought this was real? And it's just a lot of second guessing stuff, and that just sucks to be where we're at right now. And it's not where you want your head coach. But I wouldn't like. Would you think it would have been better if it was like, no, I skipped my counseling to be here today? You think that would have been better?
I'm just saying, you're an NFL coach. You clearly have, you played a career before this. You clearly have money. You're telling me the counselor was only available on Saturday during the draft? Like, the draft on the previous days, it starts at nighttime. Could you not have done both? Like I said, could you not have done it on Sunday? It just seems like, oh no, the type of counseling you need only can happen. So that's where it just seems like it's some sort of like PR thing that's like, well, how can we put this right down the middle? You can't miss day 1 and 2, because that's when we got like legit guys we're looking at that could actually make an impact this year. But we want this to make it seem like you're actually sacrificing and you're really taking this seriously. So
why are you acting like this wasn't
Saturday?
Why are you acting like this wasn't Ari Gold? That he had his phone out the entire time. They probably had it on in the background, and he's listening with an earpiece. Like there's probably this Ari Gold situation in this counseling scenario, is there not? Or he's just on the phone? Like, it's the NFL draft.
Well, then what's
baby.
the point? What's the point of going to the counseling if you're not going to do the counseling and you could just been at the draft and got the work done? I did see it's Monday. He was in the office today, so I don't know.
Are you worried?
Is one counseling session enough? Oh, I think we already were, in trouble where we made it to the Super Bowl. I think the expectations are going to be higher. We have the more difficult schedule. All the things that we talked about. We need Drake to be even better. Healthy. I think that's going to help. But just all of this, just distractions are never good. It never helps anything out.
Do you think Vrabel will survive this?
Yes.
We'll have him long term. He will be our coach.
Yes. As long as he keeps winning.
I'm worried. I don't think he's going to survive this. I think this is going to bring him down.
You don't think he'll make it week 1? Or do you think this is going to continue into the year?
I think throughout the year. I don't think we're going to get... No, he'll start the season. I just worry going into next season, if it's a bad season and he's just part of the problem and not a solution, I just worry. I'm worried. I'm very concerned. I don't feel as good about him as I did last year. And it shouldn't make any difference. He didn't break any league rules or anything. It's just a really bad look. And I just worry if he can handle, which I hope he can. If he can handle it, then we'll be fine. It's a lot to handle, though. It's a lot that you don't necessarily have to handle that he's now just put on his plate every week. I think this just never goes away.
Oh, no, for sure. It never goes away. Like, it just, the jokes are always going to be there.
All right, remind everyone to subscribe. Little column A, little column B. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow Zach on his X account, which is
Wicked Seaman 24.
All right, anything else for the people out there? You got about 60 seconds.
60 seconds. I was very happy over the weekend. The Yankees swept the Red Sox and then came real close to sweeping the Astros. So good weekend of baseball.
I will be fully healthy next week and very much more excited and prepared for this. We will not confuse Rutger players. We will know the names of everyone.
It was just one little mistake.
We'll be back. More mistakes.
Little column A, little column B.